Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Dads for Truth. We've decided on a name change. We felt like, I don't know, more impactful. I'm a dad. He's a dad. This is John. I'm Ray. We wanted to welcome you to the same show format, different name, but still, really, this is all about where truth and honesty meets false narratives and the disingenuous. And we're here to fight against that. So, John, welcome. How are you, sir?
I am awesome. How are you? I want to give a big shout out to everybody out there. It is Valentine's Day. So love
But
hearts.
remember, guys, just don't wait until Valentine's Day to do something nice for your significant other. They deserve more than just one day. So, I happen to get this very nice cross today. Very nice. Love it. Kind of matches. John's is a little bit more fancy than mine, but
Well, because I'm
I, I'm,
fancy.
I'm yeah, I'm not as sophisticated as John, but hey, we got a great show for you today. Again, we're trying to build this channel on some reaction videos because there's a lot of current events. The world's kind of gone nuts right now, and so John, I got 3 reaction videos for you instead of 2 because we had the Super Bowl recently, and there's a couple related things to the Super Bowl
Oh,
that I think you might find really interesting.
oh
So
yeah.
we're gonna jump into it. I'm gonna go ahead and share a video clip with you. All right. And hopefully you can see a screen, John.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play it. So we don't want any copyright infringement issues, so I'm only gonna share a few seconds of these, but I don't know if everybody saw the commercials in the Super Bowl or after, or even they played them afterwards, but this particular one caught my eye, John. I thought you might find interesting. This was supposed to be, this is from a group called, I guess, hegetsus.org or jesus.org or something. They've had a few videos recently, past few months on different channels. A lot of it's been on foot on the NFL games. I don't know if you happen to see this one, John. I'll play just a little clip of it. And this is basically the setup is that they show a bunch of clips of different opposing views washing each other's feet. One thing to note, you will not see Jesus in this video or any of the other. I'm going to show you a short clip, but here you go.
I love your precious heart. I was standing.
All right, John. So, did you see this video when it came out on the game?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did, and I was very annoyed, not with the video, but with the reaction to the video.
I actually was annoyed at the video. I'll tell you why in a minute, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I wasn't very annoyed at the video. All right. There's different views on this. So some people were mad because it was religious. Some people were mad and they said, well, they weren't mad. They were just mocking people. So why could you spend so much money on a video? Right. Some people just outright mocked the whole thing because they called it a foot fetish. And so this is what annoyed me. Obviously, here you and I are both pretty well. We're both willing to listen to opposing views. So I have a feeling that we're going to have a difference of opinion on this one based upon your comment already.
I think we are, but it's a good thing.
Yeah. So one, my opinion is I don't mind the spending of money on something like this because the value of a soul, between heaven and hell, it doesn't really have, a lot of money on something like this. As long as it's reaching out to people, to me, it's worth it. And they're doing it on a platform that's going to see people from all over the world, millions of people see this video. The other thing is, even if you disagree, the outright mocking of this is sad. It tells you the state we're in as a society. To look at a video like this and then say, make jokes about it being a foot fetish. So it shows one, your ignorance of the story that's being portrayed. And two, it just shows how much you don't really care about God and how he sent his son to die and get tortured on a cross for you. Now, there are, disagreements, and there can be disagreements from a logistical standpoint, right? I would accept, okay, maybe you don't want to spend that much money. I disagree, but that's a legitimate concern. But to outright mock the scenario, because here's the thing: this isn't just, oh, I'm massaging your feet. Back in the day, these people walked around in sandals if they had shoes at all. First of all, second of all, these people were they're stepping in dirt and shit all day. And when Jesus did this and demonstrated this, he demonstrated what a leader should be, which is a servant. Instead, so this is what pisses me off. That people would take this and mock it and make fun of it and just crack jokes about it. So that is, that pisses me off. I'm willing to sit down and discuss differences, but when you outright mock Jesus Christ, it tells you where your society is, and then you wonder when something happens in your schools or some guy shoots up a concert, and where's God? You've been making fun of him all this time. Now all of a sudden you want him? Go ahead.
Well, I have a very diametrically opposed view on this, and it has nothing to do with the criticisms of it. It has to do with the video itself.
Okay.
Number one, you don't see Jesus in there one time.
He is there at the very end. If you follow
He is. When they talk about Jesus washed people's feet.
Yes.
But it was an afterthought. But I have like 10 issues with this video.
Okay.
The second issue I have is, and I get the intention, it has a good place. The idea is good. However, you're talking about opposing views on things like the girl in the abortion clinic. Okay, that goes against God's doctrine. That's not Christian-like. Take a life. So I'm not washing the feet of somebody who is pro-abortion. I'm not Jesus. I can't do that.
So Jesus can, and I think that was the point.
Well, hold on. So the idea is this is not about Jesus washing their feet. What the idea is that we are supposedly things that are considered illegal, immoral, we're supposed to just brush it aside and wash each other's feet. Now, that ignores the fact that these are completely immoral things to do. I don't think that, if you're talking about what Jesus might say to these, I know that, we always talk about Jesus always wanted to sit with his enemies, talk to his enemies, or anybody who was opposed to him. And I get that. But I think this video missed the mark completely in that its intention was to soften the idea that there's immoral things that go against the Christian religion, against even the Catholic religion, which is abortion, which is illegal immigration, doing things that are against the law, that we know are against the law, right? Those things are not upheld in any shape or form by anybody that I know that really is identifying as a Christian. I'm sorry, but having an abortion is never the right thing to do, and is never moral. Breaking the law is never moral, unless you're talking about saving a life, which again, that was the only exception for me. But I also think that again, they could have been much more impactful. They've had better videos than this. They've had multiple videos this past year, and it talks about people hating each other and that sort of thing. And I get that. But in this case, I think the message should have been, that Jesus, if Jesus had been in these pictures leading up to this, it would have probably been better to talk about, that Jesus is forgiving and that we should forgive our enemies. But that doesn't mean that we are going to welcome their views necessarily. We can debate, but there's no debate to me on abortion. There's no debate to me on doing things that are illegal. I don't think that has a place in the church, to be honest with you. And I am 100% opposed to this video. I think it misses the mark completely. And the criticisms are stupid, of course. I totally agree with you. The foot fetish thing, I didn't even see that, but that's just ignorance. The video has value at the end when it talks about what Jesus would do. Us as mere mortals or mere citizens of the earth, in my opinion, we should not support abortion. We should not support illegal activities. I don't think that's a good message to send personally. So,
Well, I don't know that anything in the video says that abortion is supported or anything like this.
well, when
What it's showing is compassion, love, right? You don't just because somebody's doing something wrong doesn't mean we hate them, right? Jesus, Romans 8:1. There is now therefore no condemnation for those that are in Christ Jesus. Galatians 5:1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty where Christ has made me free. This doesn't mean that the things we do are right. What it means is that because of the cross, it's all paid for. Now,
right, but I don't see one time in this video, except for in writing at the very end of the video, they didn't mention Jesus. They don't talk about what Jesus, anything about the Bible. They don't reference anything. It's strictly a video. To me, basically placating to a woke culture, and I don't placate to a woke culture, John.
Well, love and compassion doesn't have to be placating to anybody. I don't
You
have
have
to
love and
agree with
compassion, but when they are putting people in jail, like members of the church who go to peacefully protest at a abortion clinic, don't put a picture up there that somehow that people are allowed to go and protest when they're put in jail for just simply showing up and praying for these girls, which has happened recently.
Oh yeah, I
Don't
know.
put this
No,
stuff on
that's
video.
despicable.
Don't act like that stuff is not happening. Yes, compassion, but it goes both ways. You cannot have compassion if compassion is not given. I agree. I mean, I'm not. I
Remember, Jesus, right? First John says that God loved us before we loved him, even when we were his enemies, right? Even when people, even the people that hated him, and even the people, what did he say on the cross? Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. That doesn't
well,
mean
yeah, but
that doesn't mean what they did was good. It
they
doesn't mean
don't they
what they
don't
did
quote they
was
don't
right.
quote scripture in here. They don't show his face in here. Nothing. I think this is a weak attempt to. Yeah, I think the organization has some promise and there's some good things that they're saying there, but they had an opportunity. This is where I say they missed the mark. They had an opportunity on the Super Bowl to put the scripture up there that was impactful, to show his face, to talk about his compassion, not just pictures, but truly hit home with who he was. And that's why I say they missed the mark. But we'll have to move on to the next video because I mean we can go on. Again, my issue is not the video itself, it's the content of the video, how it's portrayed. And I just think that the opportunity to be more impactful was there and they blew it.
Before we move on to the next video, I want the people out there watching to recognize something. We just completely disagree, right? And yet we're still friends, right? We're still brothers. And I'm not going to go hate you. This is a message that needs to be sent to the world.
But
Right?
I want to see the fate. I think if we're going to impact the youth of America and people who are watching a Super Bowl, drinking beer, fornicating, whatever it is they're doing, I think that if we're going to pay for, if we're going to support this, Yes, that's a good starting point, but this is like their 10th commercial, and they only mentioned Jesus at the very end, and I really think they're missing the opportunity here.
Well, that's not where I was going. I was just saying that, whether you're liberal, Democrat, Republican, conservative, Christian, or not Christian, we can have like these discussions without hating each other.
Oh yeah,
Is
for
the
sure,
is the point? Well,
for
I was
sure.
trying to make. I was moving past the.
I know I'm harsh on you. I apologize. Go, go, John. Here's the next one.
To the actual
Oh,
politics of the Super Bowl. So first thing to notice about the Super Bowl this year, they really tried to keep it apolitical. So they played the so-called Black National Anthem before the game. They've done this the last few years since George Floyd died, but they played it before the broadcast really, so nobody I think saw it. I remember when I was at the Super Bowl, it was the same kind of thing. They played it, but they played it like so far before the game that it was kind of non-controversial. And then that allowed the usual suspects to fuss about how people didn't stand for this Black national anthem, which again, there shouldn't be a Black national anthem. There's just one national anthem. You want to sing a song that's fine. I'm not sure why you need a separate Black national anthem at the one event that everyone in the country watches together. But in any case, the kind of message of the Super Bowl from all the advertisers was non-controversy. They were all desperately trying to avoid controversy because.
All right, John.
I got a lot to say about this one.
So, what do you think about what's your take on this one, John?
Well, first of all, the term Black National Anthem assumes by its very name and nature that there's a Black nation, which then causes a divide. So one of the things you know me well, right? I very rarely use terms like black, white, right? Things like this. Why? Because remember, well, you and I and John that one day watched that video by Vodi Vosham, right? And I started doing these studies on the fact that race wasn't even a real thing, and we did some things on this.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, obviously you can't avoid it. There are times when you got to describe somebody, right? But the reason is these kind of categories cause division, and so I've seen a lot lately. People stepping up, Black people, Spanish people, Asian people, white people, whatever, standing up and saying basically the same thing by making things about being black or white. You're bringing race and racism into the picture. And the national anthem is not, despite what anybody thinks, a white supremacist song. I've had this discussion with people, and if you look at the history behind it, there's nothing anti-Semitic, anti-black. There's nothing, racist about the song. It's a song about the country as a whole, which includes everybody. So, like I said, having a Black national anthem, one implies that there's a Black nation, which means it's a completely different nation than the United States. And two, it's causing a divide when they say that they're trying to cause healing. I think it's a terrible idea. I've never listened to the song all the way through, but that's only because every time it's played as some kind of something separate from our national anthem. And again, to me, it's causing division. It's causing hatred. It's and people, and this is I'll let you speak in a second because I know you got another video. But you and I have had these discussions off air, in just our own personal time, where I've said there's somebody up here somewhere pulling strings, right? The master of puppets, and he convinces people, through emotions, because remember, emotions aren't made to think, they're made to reflect, that something like this is needed. I wouldn't stand for a white national anthem either. It's to me, it's divisive. But the devil is very good at picking at people's emotions and convincing them that this is necessary.
Yeah, I actually agree with you like 97%. I think nice cup, by the way. I watched it, and I watched it from the hour pregame up until the postgame show. And what struck me, just like you, I mean, Roger Goodell has become the king of placating, and he's just really. I mean, I still watch the NFL, but man, this stuff right here just eats me up. The whole sitting for the national anthem,
Yeah.
and then they still have these things at the end of the end zone that says end racism or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like anybody would stop. Oh my gosh, I saw the end of the end zone. I think I'm going to end race. I think I'm not going to be racist today or from now on. Nobody cares, right? But this whole, like you said, the divisiveness of it. You know, we are one country, one people. We are the United States of America.
That's right.
But what they're creating is a divided state of America, or states of America, right? They're creating a line saying, okay, black people have this national anthem, and the rest of you have this national anthem. That's a pretty clear cut dividing line. And interesting thing is, I've talked to friends of mine who are in the black community, and they think this is stupid. They
Yeah.
most of them have never heard of this, and the ones that do say, "No, this is dumb. I've never heard of this. This is divisive." You know, I never had a problem with the national anthem ever until a bunch of woke white people started talking about it for whatever reason. And then during COVID, it got worse. And then BLM, it got worse. Right. And to me, this is Roger Goodell's attempt to placate to the left and say, okay, I'm gonna make a concession, because he went on that little apology tour for a while saying how bad the NFL was, even though we have, 80% of the NFL is black, right? Tons of coaches, right? There's so much there. But there's like if you watch there's a 60 Minutes clip. I'll end with this. A 60 Minutes clip of Morgan Freeman talking to, I forget his name. He's a Jewish broadcaster, passed away since then. Talking about, he says, well, it's asked Morgan Freeman, well, how do we end racism? Morgan Freeman says, stop talking about it.
Yes. And I've seen that clip. And to be honest, he's absolutely right. Listen, we all know that there's some idiots out there who are racist. We know we know that there are people out there that are just dumb like that.
Yeah.
But the thing that we don't need is division. What the government is afraid of, what the world is afraid of, and what the devil is afraid of is when we come together in unity. We don't need to agree on everything. What we do need is stop giving in to the people who are trying to feed us information into our ears, right? And say, this guy hates you, he's terrible, right? Oh, black people are thieves. Oh, white people want to, steal your kids. It's stupid. And the way to fix anything like this is not to separate and divide. The example I always like to use is the Protestant Reformation. Everybody holds Martin Luther up like he was some hero. Martin Luther was a dick, okay? And since this is YouTube, and I'm pretty sure I can say this, he was an asshole, okay? But they hold him up as some great hero. Listen, I had no love for what was going on in the church back then either. But to cause a division and a split is not the way to do it. Because actually he was anti-Semitic, and he talked about burning down Jews' houses and stuff. So the point I'm trying to make is the same thing. That's not split. Are there issues? Yeah, we're human beings, right? So we're going to have problems. The country is not perfect, but causing division and causing hatred and splits and separating from each other is not the way to go. Look at Abe Lincoln and what he tried to accomplish during the Civil War. He could have easily wiped out the South. He didn't want that, did he?
Do you think this is an attempt of which, as we talked about during COVID and after, the attempt of certain people to gain favor and to gain by division, gain votes or gain political favor or whatever, by using stuff like this, right? And then they utilize, they kind of piggyback off of that, to really, for themselves, usually, either gain access, gain money, gain power, whatever it is. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. So this is what I think. You sparked an interesting thought. I'm not convinced that the immediate people that we see, the media, the politicians, even the corporate people involved in it, I don't think their immediate goal is to cause some kind of collapse in the country or whatever. I do believe there's that person, the devil, the antichrist, whoever up there, this is his goal.
Mm-hmm.
But he's using the emotions and the ulterior motives of the other people to accomplish that goal. In other words, the politicians and the celebrities and all of these people who want to get votes just want to stand.
Yeah, and then it seems to be they're trying to, as with a lot of other things, and we'll end with this. I think normalize things as much as possible so that a certain percentage accepts it, because you know how some people are, they just accept whatever's put in front of them and they don't think much about it. But you and I are more critical. A lot of people are more critical and say, hey, you're trying to make me upset with my white friends. You're trying to make me upset with my black friends.
Yeah.
So that you can divide us, and then you can figure out who's who and right who to promote certain things to, so you can gain votes, power, money, whatever. So, but we'll have to end with that because I got another video for you, John, and this is another good one. I think you're gonna laugh at this one, but I think you're gonna have fun with it.
Oh God!
Because when you get lied to by a politician to your face, it's kind of comical, especially when it's this ridiculous. All right, so here we go. I'm going to share with you and go.
These high prices are here to stay, aren't they? Let me amend that, Madam Secretary. These high prices caused by Bidenomics are here to stay, aren't they?
Well, the high prices were not caused by Bidenomics. We suffered a pandemic that resulted in severe dislocations.
Yes, ma'am. But if I could ask you, they're here to stay, aren't they?
I don't expect the level of prices to go down, but the rate of inflation.
So they're here to stay.
Well, some prices will be higher than they were before the pandemic and will stay higher, but wages have risen considerably, and the pace of price increases has now receded. Over the last 6 months. The measure of inflation the Fed focuses on has been running exactly at
but if your wages
and wages are going up.
If you don't get a pay raise, you're screwed. I mean, there's a difference between disinflation and deflation. Y'all talk about disinflation, which I'm happy to have. Disinflation means inflation is going down. It means prices are rising less rapidly than they were. But that's a far cry from deflation, which means the level of these high prices caused by Bidenomics are here to stay. Here's what Jay Powell just said on February 4th. He said, he was asked the question, inflation is one thing, prices are another, and I wonder if there's any reason to believe that people will see the prices of things decline. And here's what Chairman Powell said. So the prices of some things will decline, others will go up, but we don't expect to see a decline in the overall price level. That doesn't tend to happen in economies, except in very negative circumstances. He's talking about a recession.
All right, I'll stop it right there. Now, we have about 7 or 8 minutes, not too much time, but...
Oh my gosh, there's so much to say about this.
But I mean, I got to get your take, because we know, I had a friend, just real quick, I had a friend who texted me, said he went to Subway And you know how they used to have the $5 foot longs, and even the expensive ones were like $7.50, right?
Yeah.
You paid $17 for a foot long sandwich at Subway.
All right. I think I told you this recently. My wife, my 12-year-old daughter, and me went to Taco Bell. And all we got is a few chalupas and some soft tacos, and it cost me $43. 43 freaking dollars. Taco Bell was the place you used to go when you were high and couldn't afford anything.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. It was the youth of the drive-through. Hey, let's get some tacos, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Or
Taco
the
Bell.
Jack in the Box dollar tacos, which don't exist anymore either.
Oh my God. So I got a lot to say about this. And basically, it comes down to this. The politicians love to twist numbers. I know how to twist numbers. I've done that before to make myself look good at work. Um, so so I get it. But now you're talking about economics of people's livelihood. So when they say
Did you get a big raise this year, John?
I haven't got any raise yet,
I haven't either.
I got
So
more work though.
which goes to Senator Kennedy's point that prices have gone crazy, right? Gas, eggs,
Yeah.
bread, meat, clothes, anything you buy for the house, and going out, which used to be that's what people who didn't have a lot of money would go to McDonald's or Taco Bell to get a $15 family pack of food to feed themselves, right? But
So
doesn't that show how right he is? We didn't get a raise, so we're getting our butts kicked.
so this is I'm not an economics genius, but I'm not dumb either. And not terribly dumb.
You're a smart guy,
Um,
very smart guy.
but there's a difference. See, when they like to twist numbers, they like to say, "Oh, this many people became employed, and this many jobs are created." Yeah, most of them are part-time. Most people go to these jobs and get fired or cut within a few months.
Pizza Hut cut 1,800 jobs in California because they
So,
raised the minimum wage.
so there was a bunch of people got employed, so your numbers look good, but then they got fired,
Or they're replaced with machines.
yeah, a few weeks or a few months later, or they couldn't afford to work that job because the wages were too low. Right now, so this goes to show you can't trust the politicians.
Well, I mean, you're not any better off. I'm not any better off. Our wages did not keep pace, not even close with inflation. You're
No.
paying 100% more for gas since 2021. You're
Oh,
paying
yeah.
100% more for clothes. Try buying a used or new car. You're going to pay $10,000 markup, and they're going to mark up the price for wherever you live too. Like if you live in a regional area like Vegas or wherever.
Did you ever smoke when you were younger? Cigarettes?
No, I did not.
All right. I remember I used to buy a pack of cigarettes for like 99 cents, $1.05 with tax. Okay. Like, I don't even know what it's like. You have to mortgage your house to get a pack of cigarettes. I don't smoke anymore, but so I don't know. But like gas was 90 for like $15, I can get a pack of cigarettes to fill up my car at the gas station. 99 cents a gallon for gas, $1 for like cigarettes, right? Now, $15 will get me like
I know what I
gas.
paid. I have receipts from Costco from 2020 for $1.94 for gas. I have stuff looking back at my bank stuff from just a couple years ago, before Bidenomics kicked in, all of his policies that kicked in, where we could still get cheap breakfast at McDonald's, a bunch of good deals for breakfast for the family. You can afford to go out and eat. Now between gas and groceries, which groceries are up, the problem is they tell you these big things about, oh, prices are whatever, only up 9%. What they're not telling you is they're taking a select few things that don't get bought much. If they took the whole enchilada and they said, okay, combine eggs, combine gas, cars, everything that costs for an average person, who the common things they buy, the prices are up about 50%, not 10%.
Here's something I learned, and you're smart. You're smart.
You got about 1 minute, buddy.
All right. When it comes to this kind of stuff, You're a little bit smarter than me, but I remember a guy told me a long time ago. Like, why does your car depreciate so fast? Why does your house price like cut in half from one day to another? Nothing changed that dramatically in your house, from one day to another.
Yeah.
It's all about perception. There's no need for the inflation. There's no need for it at all. The government wants it, so the government puts it out. Eggs didn't all of a sudden become made out of something else. They're still coming out of a chicken's ass, the same type of chicken, and it ain't made of gold. The government wants things to be more expensive.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of companies that can gain from that. I mean, we won't even delve into this pharmaceuticals with Pfizer and Moderna and all that stuff that went on, and they've made trillions off of COVID. But beyond that, all these businesses, and it's usually not the mom and pops. It's what they get hurt because they got to pay that wages to compete with the McDonald's of the world, but they don't have the resources. So I'll basically end with that. I mean, on my end, I don't know about you, but if you account for the fact that I don't have a raise, but I'm still paying more for, almost double for so many things. We're lucky we're not in the poorhouse right now. And lucky we have a spouse to share expenses. So, but no, I appreciate it, John. I know that you got a lot going on, and I know, like I said, Super Bowl is interesting, and unfortunately, my Niners lost, but it is what it is. It's a game. But I thought the politics of it was interesting. I think your take is really good on it. I know we disagree on some stuff, but I know you got your heart in the right place, but that's the great thing is you and I don't always agree on everything, but we're always stay friends.
One more thing before we go. Hit the little button. Boop. Like us. Subscribe, even if you hate us. That's okay.
Let's make some comments. Let's talk about it. Please share with your friends too. I'm telling you, you got two guys here. We're dads. We have kids. We have families. We deal with real world problems. What we don't like is people who are intellectually dishonest, trying to spin things. We just want to talk about the truth and have a good conversation. So with that, John, I'll say good night, and I appreciate your time, John. And I think we're gonna have some guests coming up pretty soon. I got some guests lined up to get on the video with us as well. So
nice.
So yeah, we'll see you next week, and love you guys. Take care.
Peace.